the procedures and different data and aesthetics which is integrated, and its different documentations and its sensitive approach about the procedure and its influential structural, the core values and systematic way of the growth and its orientation of the socialization which have different partially and its achievements about the work and its basically for their associations and its cooperations for their neutralization. It is the influential part of the approach and different core values and systematic way of the growth orientation which is the neutralization and its associated for their different influential structural and its regulatory transformations, which is the neutralization in its procedure for their efficiency and challenges for their working, and it's basically for their supplementary ideologically thinking about different regulatory and transformation for their neutral efficiency, the growth and its influential part of the approach and different institutionalization, the prosperity and institutional structure. It is timing and thinking about different regulatory and transformations for their different institutional structural, the procedure and its influential part of the approach and different core values and systematic way of the growth orientation of the society, which have different inclusivity and challenges for their regulatory transformation, how to different deficiency and institutionalization for their prosperity and its working for their socialization, and its influential structural which have different core values and how to neutral efficiency and its procedure for their different basically for their socialization and its influential structure. It is timing and thinking about their procedure and its influential structural which have different institutional association and its functional for their associated for their cooperative advantage which have different core values and institutionalization for their prosperity. It is timing and thinking about different role and its regulatory efficiency for the challenges, how to different aesthetics and data associate and how to working for the data, and it is the basically for their timeline and it's different short documents which working basically for different way, but it is a unique direction, and how to try to influence the structure of work and its institutionalizing, the procedure for different procedures and its regulatory transformation which have different institutionalization and its core values, how to different influential acknowledge about the work basis and its cooperation for their socialization. It is timing and thinking about different regulatory and its process of work, the sensitive approach, partially differentiation, cooperation, and its convenience for their different systematic and its working basically for their applied field. The approach and its influential for their structural and its applied field for their different dynamic and institutionalization. The procedure and its working basically for their supplementary and institutionalization for their working, which have different cooperative and institutional structural, the procedure and its deficiency for their transformation. It is basically the supply chain and its working basically for their role and its regulatory efficiency and its cooperative advantage, different thinking about the structural and its influential part of the approach and its regulatory efficiency, the procedure and thinking about different dynamic and institutional structure. It is the transformations and its growth orientation of the socialization. It is transformations and its institutional structural, the procedure and deficiency for their different reluctance of work and systematic way of the procedure, which is the influence about the work structural and its socialization, which have different core values and systematic way of the growth orientation of the society. It is timing and thinking about the approach and its regulatory transformations, how to neutral efficiency and its cooperative advantage, different achievements of work, the systematic and its procedure about different cooperative and sensitive about their political systems, the economy prosperity, and the different background of work which have integrated and its institutionalizations for different achievements of work, and it's basically for their supply chain and it's working for their institutional structure. It is basically for their different supply chain and it's working for their institutionalization which have different cooperative advantage and sensitive of work about different procedures
हमने
and
डिलीट कर
its
दिया
influential structural
डालना
and its
चल के
achievements about different procedure
सोमवार
and its
एतवार को कर दियो सोमवार से
influential
निकल जाए
association for their neutralization. It is timing and thinking about different growth and its orientation for their different institutionalization and its procedure of work. They are influential part of the approach. Referendums and its ecologically prosperity and efficiency of the transformation, which have different cooperative advantages. Thinking about different regulatory
जब
efficiency
ये मैं
and
कॉलेज कहाँ से
institutional
करोगे
structural. It is timing and thinking about how to navigation of work, systematic approach and its influential part of the approach and different systematic and its core values and systematic way of the growth orientation of the society. It is timing and thinking about different regulatory transformation, how to neutralization for the efficiency and its efficiency. It is the influential part of the approach and different referendums which have socialization and its institutional structural the procedure and its influential part of the approach and different referendums and its ecologically prosperity. It is timing and thinking about different regulatory transformation which
ये मैं कॉलेज
have
का ऑप्शन नहीं
different
कितने लिखा
core values and systematic way of the growth orientation of the society. It is the procedure and its influential structure, how to neutralization and its influential structural for their procedure and its effective for their transformations which have different cooperative advantage. The thinking about the regulatory efficiency and its procedure for their different neutralization and its influential part of the approach which have sensitive and institutionalization. It is the systematic and institutionalization for their procedure and its working basic for their different growth and its orientation for their neutral efficiency and dynamic institutionalization for their procedure and its influential part of the approach which have different core values and achievements of what the systematic procedures which have followed and brought about different data and statistics about their fragmentations of different technological sustainable developments and the sustainable approach about the sustainable renewable energy like the 500 gigawatt by 2030 by India visions and 100 gigawatt by nuclear energy by 2047, and this is the visions which is the partially associations which have different institutionalization and its influential part of the approach. It is the growth and its institutionalization for their prosperity and institutional structural which have different advantages and its institutionalization for their different referrals and its ecologically prosperity. It is the transformations and its core values and how to neutral efficiency for their different efficiency of the transformations which have different cooperative advantage thinking about their regulatory efficiency and its different achievements about the process of work and its a balance for their working and it's basically for their supplementary ideology. It is thinking about different challenges and it's working basically for their supply chain and it's working for their supply chain for their socialization and it's gradually responsible. It is the supply chains and it's basically for their different advantage of work and it's basically for their socialization and its cooperative advantage and thinking about different sensitive work and it's basically for their supplementary for their ideology. It is thinking about the procedures and its influential structural cooperative advantage different data which brought out the working and it's basically for their supply chain and its influential structural and its cooperative which have sensitive about their different integrated and its working capacity, the institutionalization process and its influential structure. It is timing and thinking about their procedure and its influential structural which have different thinking about their different regulatory and transformation which have immersing the noise in background which is affect my the communications in front of the camera and it is very challenges task for me which recorded any videos in front of camera and and surrounding noise which also affect the video sound quality which very decreases, and this is the challenges which I facing right now, and it is more and more challenges for the different surrounding So in different phase of life you have facing different challenges, but the process of work which have